Maybe in your life there is a boundary that no one else can see. It is not made of concrete. It has no doors, no locks. If you asked others about it, they might laugh and tell you it does not exist. But deep down, you know it is there, quietly dividing who you are from who you could be. On the outside, everything might seem perfectly normal. You wake up. You fulfill your obligations. You walk familiar paths. You smile when people expect you to smile. You repeat the same things you have always said, yet somewhere in those quiet spaces between one commitment and the next, a question returns like a persistent whisper. Is this all there is? Most people ignore it. They drown themselves in work, they cover it with noise, they numb it with easy distractions. But some people cannot silence it. Some feel that something deep within them is still asleep, waiting for the moment it will finally awaken. On the other side of that invisible line, there is no perfection waiting for you, only a version of yourself that has not been born yet. And that version does not appear in a miraculous leap. It is built like a bridge across an empty void, plank by plank, step by step, until one day you look back and realize you have already crossed. Science has a name for this process: neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reshape itself, to create new connections and erase old ones. This means you are not doomed to repeat who you have been. The you of tomorrow does not have to carry the limitations of the you today. Before we dive deeper, I want you to ask yourself, what would happen if you didn't stop here? Because by the time you reach the end of this video, you might never look at your life the same way again. From your earliest days, labels were attached to you. He's too quiet. She's too hyper. Oh, he's good with numbers. She's not creative. These phrases are like seeds. Over time, they take root. And before you even realize it, you are living in ways that confirm them. But your identity is not fixed. You are not a stone. You are a river. You change shape, adapt to your surroundings, and find new paths. Neuroscience explains that every habit, reaction, and thought is like a trail in your brain. The more you walk that trail, the clearer and easier it becomes. But if you stop using it and start walking in a new direction, the old one begins to fade. Imagine a field of tall grass. If you step on the same spot every day, a visible path will appear, but nothing stops you from choosing another way. At first, it feels uncomfortable and hard. It feels like resistance. But step by step, the new trail forms and the old one disappears. The myth of the fixed self is the belief that you can only walk the path already marked. The truth is that your mental field is vast, and you can explore all of it. Close your eyes and imagine your mind as a house. When you were born, the land was already there. Instincts, reflexes, and primary emotions. But the walls, windows, and furniture were added over the years. Every conversation was a brick. Every experience was a door. Every compliment or criticism was a coat of paint. Most of that house was not designed by you. It was shaped by parents, teachers, and the culture around you. Even strangers you met only once left something inside. The brain, to save energy, prefers to keep the house as it is. Change requires effort. Knocking down a wall creates dust. But what if that wall is blocking the light? What if that old window is so foggy it prevents you from seeing clearly? What if the room where you spend most of your time is actually the smallest and darkest one? Mental renovation is messy, but when it is done, you realize you could never truly live well in that old layout. There is a voice that follows you everywhere. It narrates what you do and comments on what you do not do. When you fail, it says, "I knew it." When you succeed, it whispers, "It was just luck." This is your inner narrator, and it is not neutral. It has been trained over the years to confirm what you already believe about yourself. If you see yourself as limited, it will search for proof. If you think you are unworthy, it will filter the world in ways that reinforce that belief. But here's the truth. That voice is not reality. It's just the echo of old stories, and stories can be rewritten, not with pretty words in the mirror, but with concrete actions that create new evidence for your brain. Every time you act differently, you edit a chapter. Over time, the narrator stops being your enemy and becomes your guide. If this resonates with you so far, Take a second and think of someone you know who is trapped behind their own invisible line. Share this video with them. Sometimes that small act is enough to start a transformation. Personal growth is driven by three forces: gradual exposure to discomfort, intentional practice, and quick adjustment. Gradual exposure means that real growth happens right at the edge of your comfort zone. Intentional practice means not just repeating actions, but repeating them with the goal of improving. Quick adjustment means that the most successful people are not the ones who never fail, but the ones who correct their course faster. Imagine a climber ascending a mountain. They do not leap to the top in one movement. They test their grip, adjust their footing, climb a little, retreat if necessary, and then try again. Through this process, they eventually reach the summit. The brain works in the same way. Every challenge you accept and practice with awareness expands your mental map. People dream of great leaps, but they underestimate the power of small steps. Small steps bypass internal resistance. They are the quiet revolutions that accumulate over time. Reading 5 pages a day, saving a symbolic amount of money. Walking for 10 minutes, these may seem insignificant until you add them up over a year. The impact is unavoidable. Stagnation is living the same day over and over, just changing the date on the calendar. To break free, you must introduce controlled disruptions into your life. Change your route. Talk to strangers. Learn something completely unrelated to what you already know. Discomfort is proof that expansion is happening. Your brain needs a destination. Without it, it will simply repeat the same paths. Design the future you want. See yourself in it. Anchor your actions in the present. Plan backwards. Start with the result you want and work your way back to the steps that would get you there. The world may stay the same, but if you change, it changes with you. Do not wait for the perfect conditions. Begin now. The unexplored is not out there, it is inside you. It is the version of yourself that has not yet been born, and it will only appear when you decide to cross your invisible line. If you are ready to take that first step, do not let this just be another video you watch and forget. Leave a comment with the words "I am crossing," and let this be the first conscious action in the new chapter of your life.